What's up guys, Andrew Baena here. It's been a little while since I've done one, but I thought I would do another FAQ. This time I have two cameras, so we'll see how this goes. I feel like their settings are not the same, but you guys will give a fuck about that. Let's continue. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just talk about some questions, shall we? So in the intro there, I was playing one of my newer guitars, which is an LTD EC1000. It is like the metalcore guitar that every metalcore band had up until like 2010 or 2015 or something like that. I've had a couple of these before, but it's nice to have one again. They're awesome. So I've been using this a lot. I also got another new goodie that I'll show you guys before I start getting to your questions. I got this nice Sterling sub-Ray bass, or sorry, Ray 34 bass. I've been looking for a 4-string bass because I don't use 6-string and 4-string that often, but it was getting a little annoying having to only use my one bass, which is my Dingwall, and just pitch shifting it all over the place. So I thought I'd pick up another one. This one popped up locally on Craigslist for a good deal, and here we are. Pretty nice bass. And this is also pretty essential for like the whole 2010 metalcore thing. So between these two guys right here, yeah, I think I can pretty much do metalcore now, for sure. All right, now that that's over with, let's get to some of your guys' questions. So this time around, I asked you guys questions, or sorry, rather I asked you guys to ask me questions on my Discord server as well as my Instagram. I don't do these that frequently, but if you ever want to possibly be in one of these videos, those are the two places where you can ask me questions to potentially be answered in a video. So you can find links to both of those in the description and the pinned comment. It's at Baena Carcosa for all of my social medias. And yeah, my Discord server is linked below. So with that being said, let's get to the first question. The first question is an Instagram question that comes from benjag25. And he asked, what's up with the guitar in the previous story? So what he's referring to is my Instagram story, again, at Baena Carcosa. I have this guitar I've been working on. I'll show you guys it right now. I haven't shown this in a video yet because I was kind of waiting till it was done. But basically I'm building another guitar kit. This one is also from Precision Guitar Kits, which is the company that I work for. So this is a baritone jazz master style kit. It's looking pretty weird right now. As you might have noticed, there's no bridge at all because I'm going to be sending it to Evertune to get a gold Evertune bridge placed in it. But I finished up all the, got the pickup installed. Nothing is actually wired. It's just all sitting in there right now. But it's all together. Basically, I'm just waiting on the tuning pegs and the nut. And then after I have those two things, I can ship this off to Evertune so they can install the bridge. And then we're looking like we're good to go. But yeah, this is a 28-inch scale baritone jazz master type kit. Don't know why I said that in an accent, but it's going in the video. Yeah, so that's what this is. That's what's going on here. I think that the finish on this one turned out a little bit better than my previous kit because this time around I used an oil finish instead of painting. As I found out last time, painting a finish on with spray paint, and in this case actual paint, is way harder than just rubbing oil on a guitar. So if I ever do more guitar kits, I'll probably do this. It's definitely not perfect, as you can see on the little B cam here. You know, it's got some paint splotches here and there. This one is the most noticeable in my opinion. But in videos, you probably can't tell when you're like this far away from the camera. No one's gonna be able to tell. And regardless, I think it'll be a cool kit when it's done. So yeah, that's what's going on with this. Next up is another Instagram question from 462 Studio, and he asked, does playing an amp feel weird to me like amp sims feel weird to him? So I don't personally really notice that much of a difference in terms of the playability, whether I'm using an amp sim or a real amp. In fact, I only have one real amp, which you can see here, which is the Rev G20. Big shout out to Rev, by the way. They were kind enough to let me keep this after I did a video with it a few weeks back. I've been using this thing a lot actually, and I really, really like it. However, with that being said, I personally really like both. I still use the Neural DSP plugins on most things, I would say, but it is nice to also have an amp. And yeah, since I've had this, I've been using it a lot because, I don't know, it's something new and exciting and gives me a different tone that sounds, I guess, like a little bit more organic, you could say, which I guess is the whole reason why people like real amps. I don't have too much experience with real amps because I pretty much grew up with digital stuff ever since I first started playing guitar. I never actually had a proper amp head, I don't think. I mean, I think I had a 5150 for like a week, but then I sold it. So yeah, it doesn't feel weird to me because I don't know, I play both and I think they both sound good in different applications, really. Okay, next question comes from Alex H. Poet, and he asks, what does Carcosa mean? Is it carcass in Spanish? No, it is not carcass in Spanish. We actually got the name from a TV show called True Detective, specifically season 1. Season 1 is the best season, and this show is like I guess you would call it an anthology, I think, where each season is its own self-contained story. None of the seasons have anything to do with each other. So the first season is the best one by far. The second season is the worst one. The third season is okay. But anyways, we got the Carcosa name from season 1 of True Detective. Myself, Johnny, and Cooper are huge fans of the first season of that show. And that is what we picked it from. It's essentially like, there's more lore to it that I don't fully understand, which I really should because I know I'm going to be talking about this a lot. But basically my interpretation of it was it's basically like a place on Earth that's like the equivalent to hell on Earth. Within Carcosa lives the King in Yellow, which is where we get all of our yellow imagery from in our branding, not our banding. Well, I guess both works in this case. But yeah, that's kind of where the name Carcosa comes from. We did a whole podcast where we explain it in much more detail and much more concisely. So if you're interested in learning all about Carcosa's origins, why we picked the names, the branding, the color, all of that is explained in our podcast, which I will link in the description or on the screen or something like that. Next up, we got another Carcosa question from Mr. Dane. He says, why don't you use the Carcosa knife live? Well, first and foremost, we've never played live because this band has only existed since June and live shows are not a thing right now. But yeah, so what he's referring to is we have a song titled Our Scars, and in that song, we actually used a dagger to record the pick scrapes, which sounds absolutely stupid in a good way. And let me show you guys what it looks like. So like I said, we have this big old dagger here, as you can see, and this is what we used to record Our Scars with. So anytime there's a pick scrape in that song, we literally just drag this across the strings to give it that super high-pitched squeaking sound. And yeah, no, we're not using this live, even when we can play live, because obviously the risk of stabbing ourselves is too high, and I guess we're not metal enough to stab ourselves on stage. Next up is a question about Deftones. Of course, Deftones just released their brand new album, Ohms. I've covered like 3 of the songs on that album already, including their 9-string songs, so go check those out if you haven't already. But the questions were favorite Deftones album and why. This actually got asked a few times, so I thought I'd throw it in there, and also it's, you know, on topic since they released a new album. So I think my favorite Deftones album is probably Diamond Eyes. Funny story about Deftones is that I actually never listened to them up until like maybe 2 years ago or so. And you guys are gonna hate me for this, but the reason I started listening to Deftones is because I was a huge, and still am, a huge fan of the band Loathe. And I showed Loathe to Johnny, and Johnny was like, wow, this sounds a lot like Deftones. And for some reason, I had never really listened to Deftones before. Like I had obviously heard them here and there, but it never quite like clicked for me. I didn't really get it, I guess you could say. But after I got into Loathe, I then went back and listened to Deftones' discography, and that's when I became a fan of them. So I've really only been listening to them for not very long at all. But yeah, my favorite album is Diamond Eyes. I like that that's when they introduced the 8-string guitar. Obviously, I'm a fan of the low F sharp or F tuning. I can't remember which one they use on that one. But yeah, it's a fun album. It's got lots of parts that are really heavy, but still atmospheric. And yeah, just overall, I think Diamond Eyes is probably my favorite. Their new one is pretty good too. It's a little more on the shoegazy ambient side, which I like, but I do kind of miss the heavy riffs that they used to have on their older stuff. There's a couple songs on the new album that are a little bit heavy, but it's definitely nothing compared to the heaviness that Diamond Eyes and earlier albums had. Next question comes from Devin Wade, and he asks, when is the new Carcosa-themed Aristides coming? So again, for those of you that don't follow me on Instagram, at Baena Carcosa, I basically ordered a custom Aristides guitar back in July around my birthday. It's going to be a completely neon yellow 8-string with a single bridge pickup and an Evertune. So it's going to be the first ever 8-string that Aristides has made that's in the raw neon yellow, as well as the first one they've made with an Evertune. So I'm super pumped on that. And in addition to that, of course, it has our Carcosa C emblem on the 12th fret inlay. So I'm super excited. I haven't got any progress pics yet, so I'm not really sure how much longer it's going to be. I think they quoted me at like a 4 or 5 month wait time. So if I ordered it in July, I'm hoping I'll get it by like November, but I don't really know. We'll see when I get some more updates, but it's gonna be really cool. I'm really excited. It's gonna be ridiculous, just all the neon yellow and black matching Bumblebee goodness. Okay, next question comes from The Splat, or T Splat. With the Drop E song, what exactly is the bass track tuned to and what is its function in the mix? So this is a question I get asked a lot because obviously with Carcosa especially, we tune to Drop E, which is super low. It's an 8-string guitar tuning, so lots of people want to know what we do for our bass guitar. So like I kind of answered this earlier, I guess, but again, what we did for Carcosa in particular was, again, we used this Dingwall NG25, which is tuned to Drop A, and then I used the drop tune pedal to pitch shift it down -5, effectively putting it in Drop E. So it is still an octave lower than the guitars. You can really go one of two ways with 8-string guitars and bass. With the bass, you can either do an octave down, which is how most traditional mixes are, or you can do it in the same octave, which is what I think, I'm pretty sure Meshuggah does that, and maybe After the Burial. So they would essentially just play an E standard, I guess, or, you know, whatever. Loathe does this as well, Loathe does this as well, where the bass guitar is in the same octave. I just personally think it sounds a little bit better and a little more heavier if the bass is actually an octave lower. So that's what we do. It's definitely kind of inaudible. It really just brings that like super low end rumble to the mix. And yeah, we all just kind of decided that that's what we liked better, at least for Carcosa. For my own videos on my channel, it kind of goes back and forth depending on how the song sounds. Like if I want it to sound more Meshuggah-y, then I'll just do the same octave. But if I want it to be like stupid, heavy, brutal, deathcore bullshit, I'll probably do an octave down. Next question comes from It's Harry Hugh, and he says, do you watch any other YouTubers, and if so, who are they? Yes, I do watch other YouTubers. Obviously, being a YouTuber, I feel like it's important to watch what my fellow friends and colleagues, I guess you could call them. That sounds so like professional. I'm not professional at all. Anyways, obviously I watch other YouTubers as well. There's a lot to list. I think the one I watch the most is honestly probably Ola England. I usually find his videos pretty much always entertaining, and almost always about a topic that I am interested in. Sometimes even if it's not something I'm interested in particularly, I'll watch it anyways because I just think he's a funny guy and has a great personality. And also, you know, I've met him a number of times and he's a super nice guy. I like supporting what he does. In addition to that, I watch a bunch of other channels. One of the smaller channels that I've watched recently that I wanted to highlight was a channel called The Bun. His channel entirely focuses on baritone guitars, and his videos are like super high quality, both in terms of the actual visuals as well as the audio. So if you're into baritone guitars or low tunings, I would definitely highly recommend checking him out. Outside of music, I watch like this channel called Game Ranks. I think does some of the best video game videos that I like. Video game videos, that's a weird sentence to say. Also, there's this channel called Girlfriend Reviews that I watch with my fiance Serena a lot because they're hilarious. It's like a couple that, it's like a review from the perspective of a girlfriend who watches her boyfriend play the games. Very weird concept that's surprisingly relatable and honestly really funny. Their editing style and their videos are hilarious and I love them. What else do I watch? I also watch a lot of like Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer, like the Two Bears One Cave podcast. That's all I can think of at the moment, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm into, at least at this point in time. Next question comes from Lucas Clay 8, and he says, have Carcosa been into writing again, or are we still fixed on promoting the EP? So we only released our new EP about a month ago, around the middle of August, which was titled Absent. Thank you to anyone who checked it out, by the way. It's been way more successful than we ever could have imagined. But with that being said, we are definitely already writing new material. I am hoping that we'll have a new song soon. That's all I want to say about that because the rest of the band gets mad at me because I always reveal too much information apparently. So that's all you get, but we're working on stuff. Next question is, which OST do you prefer more, Doom or Doom Eternal? I think that I actually like the soundtrack on Doom Eternal more than Doom because there are more guitar-centric tracks, whereas on the original Doom, there's only a couple that are really guitar-focused. Whereas on Doom Eternal, it seems like Mick Gordon was just really driving into the whole metal guitar thing a lot more, which obviously I like because I'm a guitarist. Both OSTs are fantastic though, mind you. Love Mick Gordon. Really sad to hear that he's not working on Doom anymore. That fucking sucks. I don't know who's gonna take his place, but hopefully they make some more sick guitar riffs so I can do some more covers. Next question comes from DK Wanna Die. I know you were engaged, but are you actually married? Okay, so I picked this question because it is kind of confusing. I'm still engaged, I'm not technically married because our wedding was supposed to be this past June, but we had to postpone our wedding, unfortunately, due to, of course, COVID-19. So we pushed our wedding back by a full year to June. However, on YouTube, I'm pretty sure at this point I just call her my wife because, like, man, we've been engaged for, like, by the time we get married, have been engaged for, I think, 3 years, maybe 4 years. So as far as we're concerned, we're basically married. If not, we're common law. But yeah, we're not technically married. Still waiting on the wedding. Sucks that we had to postpone it. Ironically, the day we actually filmed the music video for Carcosa, A Plague, was actually the day I was supposed to get married. But that didn't happen, so I was like, fuck it, let's shoot a music video instead, right? Okay, next question comes from Nick9094. If you focus on money and started from zero, would you rather be in a band and slowly get popular and wealthy, or would you find other well-paying jobs or alternatives? If I was interested in money, I would never start a band. I just want to put that out there, you know. Galactic Pegasus was a band for like 7 or 8 years. I didn't make any money from that, which is fine. I didn't expect to. With Carcosa, we actually are kind of making money already, which is surprising. But anything that's made with Carcosa is just immediately reinvested into Carcosa. Like, it's not like we're paying ourselves out. So yeah, if I wanted to make money, I would not choose being in a band whatsoever, because the chances of actually making enough money to make a living off of in a band is unfortunately next to zero. Just saying. It would be nice to get there one day, but I don't really expect it from Carcosa, which is why I have my YouTube channel. And even that also took me like almost like 10 years to make a living off of YouTube. It's only been in the past 2 years that I've been able to do this. Not even 2 years, like a year and a half. So yeah, I guess I would go with the getting a job and finding other ways to make money route, which is what I did. So next question comes from Alex, spelled 413X. Took me a while to realize what that said, gotta say. Which song are you most proud of? Could be an original or a cover. So I have 3 answers to this because I feel like with music, I have kind of like 3 different streams, if that makes sense. So I have my original music, my band's original music, and my cover music, I guess you could say. So my original music, like solo project stuff, the thing that I'm most proud of is, of course, Bury the Hatchet, the title track from my solo EP. That song is incredibly personal, was super hard to write due to the emotional content in it, as well as everything on that EP, to be honest with you. So that song holds a special place in my heart because that was a way for me to get a lot of that off of my chest. And yeah, that's the answer for my original music. As for my band, it's hard to pick because I really like everything we did on Carcosa, but I think that the song that I am the most proud of and that I like the most from Carcosa is our first song we released, which is called A Plague. That was the first song the band ever wrote, and I think it's one of our best songs, and that just started us on this whole new path of being in a band together, so that would be my choice for that one. And then for covers, obviously the Wrecking Ball cover from 2013 is still the thing I'm the most proud of. I can't believe it has almost 4 million views, and it also kind of crushes me that I probably will never get 4 million views on anything else in my life, and 2013 was my golden era peak, or whatever you want to call it. But oh well. Next question comes from Isamanchik. Sorry, man, don't know how to pronounce that. Schecter, question mark? Yes, Schecter. Yeah, I like Schecter. This isn't really a very specific question, obviously, but I do enjoy Schecters. I've had a few of them in the past. I've had both of their 9 strings, which is the C9 and the Damien 9. I've also been in talks with Schecter about maybe getting some of their new 2020 models on this channel. So let me know what you guys want to see from Schecter on this channel. And maybe they'll send some my way to check out and make some videos with. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. Next question comes from Pnath123, and he asks, what tattoos do you have? So I have, I guess, 4 main tattoos. I'm gonna show pictures of them on the screen because like doing this on camera looks weird, and also I can't get them all. But basically I'll start with my newest one is up here. So this is like the start of my upper arm, I guess you could say. Obviously there's a nice blank space there and there that I want to fill in at some point in time. But this is a combination of a couple different things. It's a combination of the Bury the Hatchet artwork, which is the artwork for my solo EP, combined with the artwork of Protest the Heroes album Hajiah. This has a deep personal meaning to me that I don't really want to get into right now. But essentially the name Bury the Hatchet from, which is the title, fuck it, I'll just talk about it. It might get a little emotional, but basically the title of my EP is Bury the Hatchet because there's a song from Protest the Heroes album Hajiah called Bury the Hatchet, hence why the two things are combined. And basically I had a friend who committed suicide last year. And when we were growing up together, our favorite album and favorite band was Protest the Hero. And then we had a big falling out where we didn't talk to each other for like, I think like 5 or 6 years due to something that happened, which I don't need to get into. And he wrote me an apology letter titled Bury the Hatchet because of the Protest the Hero song and obviously because of the meaning of that phrase. And after he wrote that to me, you know, we made up and became friends again for a couple years until he committed suicide last year, unfortunately. Obviously that's glossing over a lot of the details because as you can tell, it's not easy to talk about, but yeah, that's what this tattoo and my solo EP is mostly about, as well as actually what Carcosa's Absent EP is also mostly about. So now you know that. But let's get that energy back up. You got this, man. All right, let's talk about the other tattoos. These ones are much less intense. The one on my forearm, or I guess the side of my forearm, is my tattoo artist, Trish B. Also, shout out to Trish B. Go follow her on Instagram. She did all of my tattoos. But she designed this based off of Full Metal Alchemist, the anime. So in Full Metal Alchemist, there's a thing called the Gate of Truth. Again, one of my songs on my solo EP is called The Gate because it's based off of this. But this is her take on the Gate of Truth. It's essentially a gate that you see when you die. You go into this just blank white room that has a gate in it. And basically there is this character, which is another tattoo called Truth. And he's basically like a shadow version of yourself. So when you die, you go to the Gate of Truth, see Truth. Truth tells you like the truth of your life, more or less. And after he tells you the truth of light, the gate opens. These hands reach out of the gate. There's an eye that appears. The hands grab you, pull you into the gate closes, and you're dead. And for some reason, I chose to have this tattooed on me forever, even though it's depressing as fuck. And last but not least is the only tattoo I have that doesn't really have any meaning at all. It's just because it looks cool. This was my first tattoo. It's on my inner forearm. And it's just basically, I went to my tattoo artist again, Trish B, and I kind of showed her like a mixture of Loath's album artwork from The Cold Sun, as well as some of Born of Osiris's artwork. And I just told her like, I like this style in general, make something. And she did, and I loved it. This was the first tattoo that I ever got. I was super nervous because it's fucking huge for a first tattoo. But yeah, I like it a lot. Those are my tattoos. Okay, that concludes today's FAQ. Like I said, I don't do these too often. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and stuck around till the end. Hopefully I answered some of your guys' questions. Let me know if you want me to do more of these. Ask your questions in the comments below. Again, go join my Discord or follow me on Instagram because that's usually where I post like the little questionnaires where you can fill these out. Yeah, that's pretty much all for today. What else do I gotta say? Oh yeah, if you haven't checked out my band Carcosa, please do. We are releasing a very, very, very cool new video on Friday or Thursday this week. I think you guys are gonna like it. It's gonna be on my channel this time, so keep an eye out for that. That's pretty much all I have to say, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. And yeah, I look forward to reading your comments, and that's pretty much it. Goodbye.